Hi there, Andreas from Kalens here. Today I'm going to show you just some of the things you can do with a Kalens image. We'll stick with the basics today, but there's loads of advanced stuff to discover too. Stay tuned for that in future videos. When you take a picture with a Kalens, you get an image. A totally normal picture with color information just as you would expect. But there's more. When you look at channels, you'll see the thing that sets Kalens apart from all other lenses, a depth map. Put very simply, a depth map shows us how deep in space of the image any given pixel is. The lighter it is, the further back it is, the darker it is, the closer it is. And in the middle you see a variety of shades of gray. So now I'm going to show you what you can do with this depth information. I've copied the depth map and I'm going back to the image. Now you can see I've also got the depth map here as a layer. I'm going to duplicate that layer because I'd always rather keep a copy of the original image too, just in case. And now let's have a look at what we actually want to do with this example image. What first pops out to me is that there's actually nothing popping out. There's lots of going on in the background and a lot of structure and colors which are kind of disturbing. And I really want these berries here to be the main subject of my image. The berries are obviously the focus of the image. Here they're sharp, here they're not so sharp, and here in the background is obviously very blurred. So what we can do to accelerate the effect further is add a lens blur effect. I've used the depth map channel as a source here. You can see that if I don't add a source, the whole image is blurred out. And when I choose a depth map, I can choose exactly where my focus point should be. And of course here I'll choose my subject, the berries, which are the sharpest thing in the picture anyway. Here you can see the normal image. And here, if I increase the background blur, it'll probably be too much. Yes, it is. And this just looks fine now. There is not too much to distract us in the background now. By the way, there are ways you can make the lens blur filter even more accurate and realistic looking, but we'll come to these in a different tutorial. Now I'm going to duplicate the layer again, and I'm going to open a mask. And now I'm using the depth map as a mask. So everything I'm doing now is masked by the depth map. For example, if I make the overall image darker, the background bits become much darker while the foreground stays much lighter. Here we have a little something we should correct though. If we look at the depth map, you'll see that some of these dark gray shades aren't quite black. That means that even with masking, a little bit is coming through. But we want to completely mask a subject, so it needs to be real black. That means I'll have to work on the depth map a little bit. I go into curves, and here I can see what gray values are left in this area. And I'll just drag over to that spot to make the whole subject black. And I also want the background mask to be totally white, so I'll drag us over to there. And now we can begin our editing. It's immediately obvious that there is a lot of color in the background, even though it's a winter scene and there is no leaves in the trees. So we start with the saturation control and drag that all the way down. Now that looks cool, but it's not realistic. Now, this is a bit too much, but yeah, this I like a lot. And we'll just taken down the lightness a bit. And now you can see another thing we're going to have a look at. Look at the berries, our subject. You've got this light border around them. This happens because the depth map cannot be accurate to 1 pixel. So what we're going to do is work on the depth map again to sort this out. It's very simple. All I need to do is maximize the white areas. Oh, as you can see, 12 pixels is way too many. But 1 or 2, yes, 2 looks good. And just like that, you'll see that the border around the berries is gone. Now we could optimize this even more if we wanted to, but today we're just doing the basics, so we'll carry on and leave that for another time. It's all looking very good now, but I have to say that the subject still isn't popping enough for my liking. So let's head down to the layer below. Everything we work on here is affected by the mask too. That means that when I work on this layer now, we'll only see the foreground changing. And here we'll do the opposite of what we did before. We'll increase the saturation a bit, and maybe we'll bring in some more lightness too. And I'll use the sharpen tool to bring out the berries even more. Yes, that's looking good. And here's a final picture. Let's do a quick before-after comparison. This is the original image, and this is the result of our depth-based editing. You can see just how different the two images are. I find the final result to be a far superior picture. And it was really simple and quick to achieve those results. This was just a tutorial on the basics, of course. Imagine how much more there is to discover when you really dive into the possibilities of depth information. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.